Hey everyone, Chris here, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the first vlog of April. It is mind-blowing that we're already in April, but at the same time, with how much I read, I feel like we must be further along in the year because I read like 55 books, I want to say in January, 59 in March, and then over 60 in February. So I'm like almost halfway to my 400 book goal that I had for the year, and we're only through the first 3 months of the year, so a little bit nuts there. And based on my projection, I need to read 720 pages a day to read everything I would like to get to in April. Do I think I'm going to do it? No. But we're going to turn this. Look, I had to stop TBR. So I don't have a phase 10 TBR to compete with. So I can read whatever I want in whatever order I want and not have to worry that I'm going to fail my TBR game. So that's really, really nice. Although I do have my phase out your TBR that I need to work on. So we'll see if I can get to some of those. As for what I'm rolling over from March, besides a bunch of books that I didn't pick up, I'm a little over 200 pages into A Crystal of Time, which is book 5 in the School for Good and Evil, and book 6 is on my TBR. So this is obviously a priority to finish so that I can get to book 6. And I'm using book 6 for the last letter, first letter prompt. So I need to finish that and then immediately go into the next Gustav Gloom book because Gustav starts with a G and the last book in the series ends in the word king, which ends in a G. So I need to read those back to back. So that is going to be interesting. And I would like to get those off my series-a-thon TBRs. So we're going to try to work on that. I need to get back to Valor. I'm on page 164 and I have not picked this up in a while. But I also have Ruin on my TBR. So chunky. And on top of that, I need to read A Memory Light. So I have Valor, Ruin, and A Memory of Light. Plus, I would like to read, what are they called? I think it's Painted Devils and Holy Terrors, which are books 2 and 3 in, I don't know what the name of the series is. But I read the first book, I want to say in February? January. I was supposed to read the second book in February and didn't, and then I didn't read it in March either. And the third book will depend on whether I can get it from my library. I've requested it, but when it comes in for me specifically, like depending on where I am in line, who knows? But I do want to get to book 2. So that's another chunky fantasy that's going to be on my TBR. So I've got some chunkers I would like to get through. I'm also still partway through Ace Voices, which is an ebook, which I believe was dry. So I walked away from it. So we'll see if I can get back to that one. Otherwise, like I said, I have no idea what I'm reading and when I'm reading it. I just know I have a lot of books I want to read, and it is going to be interesting to see what I prioritize. I can tell you I would like my 5-star prediction vlog to go out as this week's 5 on Friday, which means I have like a book and a half to finish. So those will probably be a priority so that I can read them, give you my thoughts, and then edit and upload them. Lots of editing will be going on because this phone is almost full. So I need to get on the editing so that I can get the videos out so I can take the footage off my phone. So that's also a priority. And yeah, April is going to be a busy month, but I'm feeling like I'm finally coming out of that fog of like depression and burnout. So I think I'm going to be sprinting a lot in April. We'll see. But that is currently the plan. Like my plan is right now to sprint tomorrow. So we'll see if that holds. Well, today, because it's 12:20 on April 1st. So it would be later today. So we'll see if that holds. But those are my current plans. Like I said, a lot of it is kind of play by ear and read whatever it is I'm in the mood for, at least at the beginning of the month, because I have like 60 options. So I should be able to mood read a little bit. So we'll see how this goes, and I will try to check in a few days and give you an update. 4th of April, and I thought I should check in because I've actually read quite a bit. We're starting April off with a bang. First up, I read The Wagtail Murder Club, and I gave this 3.75 stars. So this follows Holly, who runs an inn with her Oma, and she has a dog named Trixie and a kitten named Twinkle Toes. In this one, she spots I think it's like a crate or a carrier? Cage. Yes. A cage on the side of the road that contains a black lab with a note that says, "My name is Squishy, please help me." So she ends up fostering this dog named Squishy, and a few days after she finds this dog, her ex-boyfriend Ben shows up in town along with some other lawyers from his law firm, and it quickly becomes apparent to Holly that all of Ben's colleagues think they are still together. And then the body of one of the attorneys at his firm turns up dead, so Holly gets roped into the mystery. And I was not as into the mystery in this one as I was into the previous one. I think I figured out a lot of the twist very quickly. I did not like how Holly handled things with Ben and how that kind of played out. But there were still things I did like. I like, and probably always will, the antics that Trixie and Twinkle Toes get up to. I thought Squishy was a fun addition to their little crew, as they also tried to puzzle out what happened to him and how he ended up in a cage on the side of the road. I am now caught up on the series. I don't know if there's going to be more books, because this is one that felt like it could be a series ender with the way the ending happened, but also you could keep right on and going. It's going to be interesting to see. If there are more books, I'll keep reading. If not, I'm okay with that too. But either way, being caught up or finished, it means it's not on my in progress spreadsheet section, so I'm happy with that. Not my favorite in the series, but it still was, like, it wasn't bad, obviously, with a 3.75. I just, like I said, found it a bit predictable and really did not like some of the choices Holly was making. Then I read Amelia Fang and the Naughty Catacorns and Amelia Fang and the Trouble with Toads, which means I've now officially finished the Amelia Fang series. I gave both of these 3.75 stars. This series follows Amelia, who is a vampire and goes on adventures with her friends. In this one, Amelia is babysitting her aunt's catacorns, and, well, things don't go as smoothly as she would hope, evidenced by the Naughty Catacorns title. And in Trouble with Toads, Amelia and her friends must go to, I believe it's called Beyond the Pond or something like that, which is where toads go when they die, because they need to go rescue somebody who has wandered into that land. And I thought that these were cute. I think that they show a lot of growth in Amelia's character. I think they're really, really good for middle grades, like especially that early middle grade range. They have a lot of good lessons in them. I love the friendship between Amelia and her friends, and it is demonstrated wholeheartedly throughout both of these books. I think the illustrations are really, really cute. I can even show you at the beginning because we get an introduction to all of the characters. And I think that is really, really cute. And I love this series. It's such a fun time. It is one I have passed on. Oh, there's a Porky. I'll hold these down here. It is one that I've had a fun time with, and it is one I have passed on to some of the little ones, although it's been a while since I started them on them, because the little ones I got these for at the time were like 6 or 7, and they're now like preteens, which is scary and makes me feel old. Fun fact, the preteens that I got these for when they weren't preteens, I gave one of them the Clock of Stars series for their birthday, and I gave the other one the Bellwoods games and finished off the Eerie on Sea series. So it's been really, really fun to be able to pass on some of my favorite middle grades to them. I did find out that the one that I passed the Eerie on Sea series to, they aren't the biggest reader, but they're really into anime. So if you have any ideas for good, like, middle grade books that I could give to this little one that would kind of help bridge that gap, because they do like anime, I would love them in the comment section below, because I want to foster their love of reading, and if that's what they're into, then I figured that was an easier way to do it. So any ideas, would appreciate them. But anyways, back to these. This is a very, very cute early middle grade series. I had a fun time with it, and it is definitely one I could see me sitting down and binge reading at some point as like a reread, so I will definitely be keeping these for my shelves. Then I picked up Belly of the Beast, which is the third and most recent / final book in the Fable Stables series, and I gave this 5 stars. This follows Augie, who works at the Fable Stables, which houses one-of-a-kind animals, and as the caretaker, he usually, in these stories, has to go retrieve a new animal, because what happens is, like, a habitat pops up, and in this one, it is a lot more dangerous than he expects, and he goes on quite the adventure to try to rescue this particular animal. At the same time, before he leaves, it is suggested to him by another person at the stables that caretakers kind of come and go, and he's starting to wonder if maybe he's going to have to leave soon. So he's really, really struggling with his place at the Fabled Stables and how he's feeling about things, while also having to go rescue this new animal, and it being far more dangerous than he anticipated. And this was just adorable. I had such a fun time with it. It isn't even earlier, like, I would say this is a children's book, like, again, that, like, 5-6-year-old range, but it's got beautiful illustrations. It's really engaging. I had a fun time following Augie on his journey and seeing in his head. This just made my heart happy as I was reading it. So I really adore the series, and I hope that Jonathan Auxier has other ideas for the series, because I have such a fun time with it. And yeah, would highly, highly recommend this for little ones, because it is a really, really good series. Then I finally finished the Forbidden Library series by reading The Fall of the Readers, and I gave this 3.25 stars. Y'all, I struggled to stay into this at times. This is a series I should have just let go. So I put it on my series to continue so I could finally finish it. Knew I had to reread because it had been ages since I read book 3. And I remember when I had read book 3, it had been ages since I read book 2, and I remember not feeling like I remembered everything that was going on. And when I was looking at my spreadsheet at the end of last year, I went, okay, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to finish the Forbidden Library series. And I went into this knowing that to do so and give it a fair shot, I was going to need to reread everything. And my feelings on the series have just gone like this. Like, I've enjoyed it less and less as it's gone on. Like I said in this one, there were times when I really had to force myself to pay attention because my mind wanted to wander because I was not invested in the story. I thought there were some interesting twists that I did not expect. I liked how some of the relationships between the characters developed, but it didn't really keep me engaged. It is definitely not a favorite series. I've unhauled book 1, and I definitely think I should have just DNF'd the series and said it's been long enough. There's a reason I haven't gone back to it. And the reason probably is that the third one didn't hook me the way the first 2 did, and I was just not really enjoying it at that point, and I should have taken that as a sign that it wasn't that I didn't know what was going on. It was just that I was no longer interested in the series. So I've definitely made some changes to my spreadsheet and DNF'd some series that I've looked at and went, there's a reason I haven't gone back to you. So gonna let this series go, but I'm glad that I can at least say I finished it, and I know for sure what my thoughts are, and I have officially finished one of my series to continue of 2025. I don't know if you can see her tail, but she's coming, or she's thinking about it at least. And then the last book I finished is Tailing a Tabby, and I gave this 3.5 stars. This is the second book in the, Cat Bookmobile mystery series. And we follow Minnie, who has a bookmobile. It's part of the library. And she brings her cat Eddie along with her. One day while she's out on her route, a woman stops her in distress. Her husband needs medical help and she can't get a signal. So Minnie goes to help out and gets this man to the hospital and ends up finding out he's a famous painter. And that's not where Minnie's relationship with this couple ends. A few nights later, the artist is discovered slumped over a dead body when he should be in the hospital. And Minnie truly doesn't believe after the conversation she's had with him and his wife that he had anything to do with this. So she, along with Eddie, end up looking into things. And this was another one where the mystery wasn't my favorite. I'm still going to give this one some more books because I think this is the second one I've given in right in the middle of 3 stars because I like the concept. I like the bookmobile. I like Eddie. I think that's interesting. I just wasn't into this particular mystery, but there's a lot of interesting things going on in the background with Minnie and her relationships with other people. And I could see that continuing to make for an interesting story in the long term. So I'm invested that way. And cozy mysteries sometimes take me a little while to really get attached to the characters. So I think sticking with them is worth it. And for me, 3.5 stars is not bad for a cozy mystery. Sometimes I like having books that are just really easy reads. And for me, cozy mysteries are almost always a really easy read. So I'm more likely to give this series a continuation as opposed to something like The Fall of the Raiders or, well, the Forbidden Library series, where I should have put that one down because it was 3.5 because it wasn't keeping my attention. Whereas I'm intentionally putting cozy mysteries on when my brain needs something more quiet and chill, and they're usually really easy to follow. So I'm more likely to give them a little bit more leeway because usually there's so many books in a cozy mystery series that I go like this with them anyways. So definitely going to continue to read the series and see if I get into it at some point. I may have to pull the plug, but right now I'm enjoying it enough to continue. I think, like I said, Minnie is an interesting character to follow. There's a lot going on in her personal life and her relationships with the kind of main cast of the stories that I think it's going to be interesting, and I really like Eddie. So we'll see where I go with this series. As for other stuff I'm in the midst of, I still haven't picked up Valor again. I haven't picked up Ace Voices, nor have I gone back to the School for Good and Evil book. However, I did pick up Crown Court Killer. I'm like 23 pages into it, so not much to say. This is the third book in the London Podcast Mystery Series. So I'm back with Ozzy and Daniel, and I know that the main suspect is Wayne, who is dating, I believe, Daniel's brother, and I believe Wayne is the solicitor that they've used when they have been suspected of murder. And he gets into a very public argument with a coworker, and then that coworker is found in the boot of his car. So I'm going to assume that Ozzy and Daniel are going to be looking into this to try to clear their friend's name. So I'm definitely interested in seeing where that one goes. I really, really do need to get back to Valor and the School for Good and Evil and Ace Voices, but I had a couple of series enders calling to me because I was very much in the mood for maybe some slightly easier reads, hence Amelia Fang and The Fabled Stables. And I also needed to finish my 5-star predictions because I've read both of those in April, the last two. So you should be getting that vlog later today. It's the 4th, so that's supposed to go out today. If I can edit it and upload it, which is what I'm headed to do, I'm going to go edit that so I can get that uploaded for you. And yeah, an interesting start to April. I think I'm right around the pace I need to be book-wise, but I expect that to flag a little bit this weekend because I have a pay-per-view on Sunday, so we'll see where I end up by the end of the week. Fingers crossed I can keep this up, because if I could go into May rolling over less than 5 books of the like 65 I have on my April TBR, that would make me really happy. I mean, if I read at the pace I've been reading, that should be doable. So we'll see. Anywho, I'm going to go because I think the gremlin wants attention. And like I said, I have a video to edit. So I will check back in with you probably at the end of the week. Let's be realistic here. And let you know how I did. So it is the 8th, and I am here to wrap this vlog up. As you can see, I've had a slight change. I got rid of the blue. It was long overdue. I was getting to the point where my hair was so long that I was like sleeping with it up, and it was causing like my scalp to hurt. So I was like, can we just get rid of the blue? And so we did, and we went with pink, mainly because there is still I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's still tiny little bits of blue because we didn't want to go any shorter. And I had a little bit of red here, which again, I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but the red from my rainbow didn't completely fade. And we figured that this was the best color to use to kind of blend it all in. So I'm actually really, really happy with it. My hair feels so much healthier because most of the bleached bit is gone. It was really, really funny because I had noticed that, like, because I play with my hair constantly, which is why often when I'm filming, I don't have it down because I play with my hair constantly. And at least if I have it like up in a ponytail or I have a hat on, I'm less likely to put my hands in it and mess it up. But I was noticing that as I would like flip my hair around, it was going whoof, because it was so long and so dry that I would touch it a few times and it would look like I hadn't brushed my hair in a week. So we needed to do something. So I'm pretty happy with this. Like, it feels, like I said, so much healthier. And I'm so ecstatic to not have the blue. I still think it's hilarious. I don't know, because I mentioned it on Sprints, and I don't know if I ever mentioned it in a vlog, but I have not dyed my hair since January when I put in the rainbow. So at no point did I dye my hair blue. But apparently half my hair felt it needed to fade to blue, and then some of it didn't even look faded. It just looked like freshly dyed. My hairstylist, when I went to see her today, was like, and I went in purposely with like a beanie on and my hood up so you couldn't see any of my hair. And she was like, so I've got the pink and purple dye you asked for, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do and how short it was going to be if I cut off the blue. So I wanted to have some options and make sure she had different colors on hand. And so she's going to me, I got your pink and purple, but like, you were so excited about that rainbow. Why are we changing it? Like, I'm surprised. And then I took my hood down and took my hat off and pulled my hair forward, and I went, oh, I don't know, because everything is blue. She was shocked. Absolutely shocked. So, much happier with this. If I could have chosen the length, this isn't the length I would have chosen. I would have wanted it a little bit longer, or to go like short, but I'm not ready to go short, so this will work. My hair grows like a weed, so it'll be long in no time. Anywho, that was my big adventure of the day. The other thing I'm here for, besides hair updates, is book updates. And I think I slowed down a smidge. But to be fair, I had wrestling, I don't even know when I checked in with you. Friday? I checked in with you Friday, I think. I think that sounds right. So I had wrestling Saturday, and then I had a pay-per-view Sunday, and then I had my hair appointment today, so like that definitely cut into my reading time. Anywho, let's start with books I'm in the middle of, so that I don't forget anything. So still haven't made any progress in Valor, still haven't made any more progress in A Crystal of Time, which is the 5th book in the School for Good and Evil. I keep forgetting that I have been in the middle of this book since January. Ah, that's where that bookmark is. So I need to pick this back up because I keep forgetting that I'm technically in the middle of it. I read a couple short stories from that at the very end of January and then just set it down and walked away. And then I am a few chapters into The Deadly Fates, which is the 3rd book in the Marvelers series. But I think it's going to take me a bit to read it because it's an ebook. And I got it through Libby because that's the only app I had access to getting it through. And it is so exhausting to read on Libby. I cannot change the background to green. I'm one of those people that like my background, I prefer it to be this like minty green color because it is the least offensive to my eyes, and my options on Libby are black with white writing, white with black writing, or like sepia tones. And sepia tones is the easiest one, but it makes me read so slowly and makes my eyes really tired really quickly. So it could be a bit before I actually finish that one. And then I'm also working on Ace Voices, again on Libby. And I've actually made like a chunk of progress. Like I think I've read over like 100 pages in that. It feels very textbooky. Like, it feels like the type of thing if I was taking a college course and I was talking about different kinds of sexuality, and I was doing a unit or a section in my course where I was talking about the A-spec sexualities that are out there. This would be the book that my teacher would hand me. So that is not helping that it's an ebook and it feels like a textbook. I feel like I'm learning stuff, so I'm not enjoying it, but it's also not hooking me in, which is not helping with it being an ebook. So I think it's going to get in the 3-star range somewhere, probably lower 3, like 3 to 3.5. But I do know that I'm learning stuff. I'm hearing terms I've never heard before, and I think it's always interesting to learn new things in that regard and to hear other people's experiences on being ace and how they figured it out and how they're treated, and some of the like I just read a chapter on like intersectionality. So I read a whole section on being neurodivergent and ace, which I thought was interesting. So I'm enjoying it. Just I wish it wasn't quite so dry sometimes. And then I believe I've mentioned all the books I'm in the midst of, except for I started Starling and the Cavern of Light, which is the third book in the Fireborn series, because I have the audiobook for another 2 days. So this follows, I'm trying to remember. So it follows a group of kids, basically, in the first book. It's been over a year since I read the first book. And they go by numbers, and I don't remember what our main character's number is. 5, maybe? 4, 7, something like that. 8. As you can see, it's been a while. And by the end of the first book, our main character has a name, but I don't know if that's, like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, there is a reason that our main character takes the name that they take. Like, there's symbolism in it, and it would give away story beats if I told you what their name was. So I don't want to do that. But basically, you kind of forsake everything you were before you showed up to, I believe it's almost like a school type location. And if memory serves, she kind of strikes out for some reason on her own and is joined by 3 other kids and a stone dog in the first one. I legitimately don't remember. Where is... Hang on. Sorry, I had to get my phone away from Bugsy. It has been so... Well, not so long, because again, last year is not that long, but the details of this one did not stick with me the same way that other books have. And I gave the first one 4.5 stars, which is sad. Okay, it was 12. She was 12. So it says, once in a generation, a hero emerges whose story enthralls readers worldwide. Ember is full of monsters. 12 gave up her name and identity to train in the art of hunting them, so she says. The truth is much more deadly. She trains to take revenge on those who took her family from her. But when 12's new home is attacked, she'll find herself on an unexpected journey where her hidden past is inextricably intertwined with her destiny and the very fate of her world. So that is what happens. They get attacked by monsters, and she and these other kids that she was in school with that she didn't necessarily get along with end up having to kind of go on a journey to help save everybody. And we've kind of seen that journey continue throughout the books. And now we're on book 3. I'm on page 57, so I've only just started this. I know I did not like book 2 as much as book 1. I wonder if I had reread book 1, if I would have enjoyed book 2 more, or if my rating for book 1 would have gone down, because I'm finding, interestingly enough, that there's certain middle grades that just aren't clicking with me anymore. And I don't know if it's because I've read so many of the same tropes that I have my favorites of that trope, and then everything else kind of is lesser in comparison, or if I'm just tired of reading the same tropes over and over and over again and I'm not seeing, anything new. Because I still have middle grades that I absolutely love. Like, I can think of 2 5-star middle grades that I've read in the last, few weeks. So I'm still loving middle grade. I'm still finding middle grades I love. I'm just also finding that there are certain middle grades that maybe 3 years ago me would have loved that current day me isn't loving as much. I think especially when we veer more into the fantastical elements, because I think it is down to me reading stuff like this and seeing, not that I'm saying that these are in any way comparable, but just reading more adult fantasy that gives you a lot more that you can sink your teeth into and a lot more that's going on, and still seeing some of the familiar tropes and enjoying the complexity and connecting with the characters more than I would a middle grade. So curious to see where I land when I finish this one. But right now I'm only 56 pages into it, so I don't have too much to say on this one. As for books I've actually finished, first up, I'm going to mention that I read The Complete Chai's Sweet Home Part 1, and I believe this holds volumes 1 through 3. This follows a sweet young cat named Chai, who one day is out and gets separated from her mama, and she ends up in a park and meets a little boy who is also upset. And the little boy and his mom end up bringing her home with the idea of maybe finding her family or finding a home for her, because they couldn't just leave this poor sweet kitten to fend for herself. But they can't find her home. They can't find anybody to take her. And they've grown attached. So despite the fact that they're not supposed to have animals in their apartment, they keep her, and we see her relationship grow with this family and the antics she gets up to and how they have to try to stay one step ahead of the landlord finding out they have this cat. I gave this 3.75 stars. I thought it was cute. I thought it was better as it went along. Like, I could see the growth in this one. I got more into it as it went along. I definitely do want to continue this and see what Chai gets up to in subsequent volumes. There's 4 like complete book sets, so I should be able to easily finish this year, because my plan is to read part 2 in May, part 3 in June, and then part 4 in July. So I thought this was really cute. I mean, look how cute Chai is. So I had a fun time with this. It wasn't my favorite, but I can see the potential, and I could see other volumes getting 4 stars. So definitely want to continue this one. I just realized that I gave this one 4 stars, and I gave Crown Court Killer, which I'm about to mention, 3.75 stars. I keep confusing my ratings, like, in my head. I was, like, saying that. I'm going, I feel like I rated this low. I'm going to have to check that. Like, I might have to bump that up a little bit. It's because I confused the ratings. Like, they were wrong in my spreadsheet, and I'm looking at this going, this doesn't feel right. Anyways. I'm wonderfully chaotic because I'm a little bit burnt out between the wrestling yesterday and then my hair appointment today and having to leave the house. Anywho, so I gave Chai's Sweet Home Part 1 4 stars, and then I gave Crown Court Killer, which is the third and probably final book in the London Podcast Mystery Series, 3.75 stars. So this follows Aussie and Daniel, and they have like this true crime podcast that they're working on, and they keep getting roped into these murders. And in this one, it hits close to home because the suspect in this murder is actually a friend of theirs who has helped them out during their last 2 cases. So now they feel even more inclined to have to kind of return the favor. Not to mention, it's their friend. They care about them, you know? So basically, they're headed over to this friend's house to watch a footy game, and come to find out a body has been discovered in their friend's trunk. And they were seen arguing with this person in the days leading up to the murder. So Ozzy and Daniel go, okay, our friend is being framed. Who is framing them? And it definitely gets a bit sinister because of certain reasons that I think I'll let you find out as you read, because I'm trying not to spoil who the friend is. And if I say too much, you'll know exactly who the friend is. I enjoyed this one, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as some of the others by Dahlia Donovan. Like, this wasn't my favorite mystery. I still love having Daniel be one of the main characters because he is autistic, and I like having that rep in my mysteries. It felt like it ended in a way where I was reading the last book and it reads like it was, but like with a lot of cozy mysteries, unless it's specifically stated, you never know. So if we were to get a book 4, I would read it. If not, I'm perfectly happy with how it ended. I think the storyline was kind of wrapped up, like the background story, so I'm pretty happy with that. Even though I can see places where you could add more detail, I think I'm pretty satisfied with how it ended. This just wasn't necessarily my favorite mystery because of reasons that I can't really get into unless I spoil who the friend is, and I don't want to do that to you. So basically, it is the connections that this person has of who could potentially be the actual murderer that kind of brought down my rating, because I didn't necessarily enjoy that. Very tricky trying to talk about this and not spoil anything. Hopefully I've given you enough details that you kind of know why I gave it a 3.75, but I didn't spoil anything. Then I read Ways to Share Joy, and I gave this 4 stars. This follows Ryan. In this one, she's really feeling caught in the middle. There is an issue with a couple of her friends where she kind of feels like she's being tugged in 2 directions. There's some family stuff that makes her feel like she's being tugged in 2 directions. She's dealing with a kid at school who won't stop teasing her. And in this one, it's all about Ryan trying to continue to share and find her joy despite all of these disturbances. This is a really great series for middle graders, especially like slightly earlier ones, because you've got like pretty big font and illustrations throughout. And I think it's got a lot of really good lessons. So I really, really enjoy the series. I think it's one that I can picture a couple of the little ones in my life really enjoying. I love Ryan's attitude. I love the people in her life that help her through some of these tricky situations. I think it's interesting exploring that kind of support system. I also really like seeing her deal with the new aspects she's dealing with at home while also dealing with a classmate who's teasing her. And it is bullying, but not like severe, bad, like the concerning kind of bullying. Like, it's still bullying and it's still not okay. And Ryan still doesn't deserve to be treated that way. But I think it does a really good job, like I said, of being for more of a younger audience where, like, for instance, this kid at school likes to pick on her because of her name, because her last name is Hart and it's spelled H-A-R-T instead of H-E-A-R-T. And so he'll make jokes about that. So it's like, it is still teasing and bullying and it's not good, but it's not the like she's getting beat up and stuffed in lockers kind of bullying, which I kind of like, because I feel like a lot of kids will experience the teasing kind of bullying more so than the being stuffed in lockers kind of bullying, and neither is okay. So I thought it was interesting to kind of have that showcased and show how you can handle those kinds of situations. So like I said, it definitely has some really good messaging in it and I'm really enjoying it. And I have one more before I'm either caught up and finished. I don't know if book 4 is the last one, but it is on my TBR for this month. So hopefully I will be able to get to that next week. We'll see. And then I read 2 books in the same series, and that was Up to No Good, which I gave 3.75 stars, and its sequel, No Parm, No Foul, which I gave 3.5. In the series, we follow Carly, who after the death of her husband has returned home to Balsam Dell to complete her dream of opening a grilled cheese eatery. And it's been about 5 months since she's gotten home. Things seem to be going well until her ex-boyfriend in town, Bully Lyle, buys the building and tells her that he's going to want her out when her lease is up, only for him to turn up dead in her parking lot of her eatery. And to make matters worse, one of her employees is the prime suspect, so she starts digging into things. I thought this was a good start to the series. I thought it did a really good job of introducing the location and the characters. I thought the mystery was interesting. I've read this before and my rating has dropped, but I've also read a lot of cozy mystery since then, so I think it is just a matter of ranking it compared to other cozy mysteries I've read and series I'm currently in the midst of and how I'm enjoying it. But I think it does a good job of setting kind of everything up. The mystery is for sure interesting. I think it has a lot of twists and turns and kind of keeps you engaged. And I thought this was a really, really good start to the series, which is why I immediately went into No Parm, No Foul. And then I gave that one 3.5 stars. Because in that one, Carly is, I believe, in a like food contest of some kind at like a Halloween gathering because she's dressed as a vampire. And there is another local eatery that is also competing. And the owner there is a bit of a jerk to her during the like sampling phase, because anybody who buys a ticket can also sample the food and then vote on a winner. And he ends up having a confrontation with Carly where he's a bit nasty. The box where the votes were tabulated ends up being tampered with, so we don't know who the winner is. And then the next morning, the owner of that eatery is found dead. And it's looking like the guy Carly has been seeing is the prime suspect. So, of course, she gets involved to try to clear his name. I wasn't as invested in the mystery in this one. It did not keep me engaged. I only had the audiobook, which did not help. I don't know this world well enough, I think, to be listening to the audiobook, like, just completely blank. So it took a lot of concentration to make sure that I stayed engaged in the audiobook, which is frustrating to me when I don't have the physical book to read along, because it meant that I had to like actually sit and focus on the book and I couldn't really be doing other things. So that kind of bummed me out. But I'm still intrigued by the series. There's definitely some interesting characters that are interacting with her like in the background. Like if you've heard me talk about the Bake Shop mystery series with Jules, you'll know that there's a lot to the background characters and the relationships that are developed there that I really, really enjoy, even when I'm not necessarily enjoying the mystery. So this is a series I think I want to give a few more books to see if the background relationships continue to develop in a way that keeps me intrigued, and whether this mystery was just an outlier or if all the mysteries are going to kind of be in this range, and see if it's a series I want to continue. So I will keep going with the series for now, but it is definitely one I could see myself DNFing if it doesn't give me a reason to want to keep coming back to it. And that was the end of my week. This was an extremely long clip given how I haven't read tons, and I did not update you for that long on my hair. So editing Chris is probably not happy with me for stumbling over my words, running my mouth, and getting generally distracted. We all know how much I love to edit. Speaking of that, I have some editing I need to do because I'm trying to catch up on vlogs, and I actually have a few shorter ones, so it would be great if I could edit those and get those uploaded for you so I can also get them off my phone so that I have more room to film. So I'm going to wrap this vlog up here. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me bread emojis in honor of grilled cheese. I don't think there's a grilled cheese emoji, but you can do like bread, cheese. If there is a grilled cheese emoji, leave me that one, but like bread and cheese. Don't know if there's cheese, probably. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!